recording. Yay! Hi again.
Yay!
Part 3.
Hi. Are we gonna do like part 15 later?
Yeah, I want to get this over with today.
I know we're on a roll.
We are. I mean, this is good Stardust videos for the next like 2 months. Kidding. All right. So, War with the Greys, part 3. Woo! So the Sarsahr don't like the Greys. Just put that simply. And before the Sarsahr had even traveled off their planet, the Greys had landed and began contact with them. The Greys offered a trade, which was that they'd help the Sarsahr with developing advanced technology in exchange for allowing them to stay on their planet and do experimentations on their people, which is much like the trade they gave to us. And President Eisenhower agreed. So you can thank President Eisenhower for why you get abducted by the Greys. You're welcome.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. The Sarsahr offered no deal. They said no. Good for them. Not good for us. But the Greys remained on the planet in hiding anyway, because they get their way. And they would stay above the clouds, too, on their ship, because they couldn't see them anyway. And the Sarsahr weren't, they didn't have flying machines yet. And the Greys would abduct the Sarsahr and do experimentations and manipulate their DNA. So the same thing they're doing to us, they would do to them. And they'd wipe the memories of the Sarsahr before returning them back to their homes. This is a huge reason why the Sarsahr do not manipulate our memories, because of what happened to them. And they just don't think it's right. So people are like, I don't remember because it's the device they use. It's not the device, it's you. You're choosing not to remember. Soon the Sarsahr caught on. When the Greys still refused to leave, the Sarsahr had no choice but to go to war. The Greys outnumbered them and had far more advanced technology and weaponry. And the Sarsahr suffered several casualties as a result. It's so much so that it dwindled down their population of their entire race almost to nothing. And the Sarsahr then got help from the Palladians. The Palladians showed up. And when they came to their planet, they aided them against the Greys. After the Greys were forced out, the Palladians taught the Sarsahr about being part of a collective energy and keeping peace within the universe, which is much what they teach us now as humans. The Sarsahr chose to follow and live by these teachings, and in return, they were given information about advanced technology, which the Palladians offered that to the United States government, but Eisenhower chose to go with the Greys instead because he got to keep his nuclear. Okay, so a bit of a backstory. So when President Eisenhower was, president, the Greys came and said, no, actually the Palladians came first, and they said, we will give you information about advanced technology. You just have to get rid of your nuclear powers. You have to get rid of, the nuclear power plants or something like that, nuclear energy or something. You have to stop using that and get rid of it. Don't use atomic bombs and shit like that. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And then if you get rid of that, we'll trade information with you. Then the Greys came and said, you can keep your nuclear program. It's the nuclear program, that's what it's called. You can keep your nuclear program, and we'll trade advanced technology with you, but you have to let us abduct your people and experiment on them, no questions asked. And so President Eisenhower agreed to that instead. Hooray! I have him to thank for my nightmares. Anyway, but the Sarsahr decided to take the Palladians' bargain and not the Greys, so that's how they kind of differ from us, too. Before this, the Sarsahr had believed in multiple gods and goddesses, which was inspired by their contact with the Arcturians. So the Arcturians are different than the Sarsahr. They worshipped the Arcturians and had built many altars to pray at, even though this wasn't what the Arcturians intended for when they made contact with them. It was the best way the Sarsahr could comprehend everything at the time. You know how in our Bible, some people saw angels, but it wasn't really angels. They were extraterrestrials, and they worshipped the angels. Right. It's the same concept. Mm-hmm. So next section.
Wait. What do you think? What's your personal opinion about, I'm going to go back to the Greys, about why do they follow the rules? What if they're so shitty and underhanded, then why would they follow a rule? Why not just abduct anyway?
Who? The
The
Greys?
Greys. Wow, what do you think? Are they being honorable by having a treaty?
Oh, no. Okay. So from what I've heard with the treaty, the trade and technology, it's like very little information. It's like we got the band end of the stick. We got the the short end of the stick.
Okay.
There we go. That's the saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So this next section is called Allegiance. That's what I titled it. So the Sarsahr are in allegiance with the Pleiadians, the Blue Avians, and other positive extraterrestrial beings. And they share a mothership together that hovers above Earth. And many people have seen this before in Vegas, and there's pictures of it. But it looks like a cloud. But that's how it disguises itself. Anyway, so you know how a lot of people say they go on a ship and they see different types of extraterrestrial species on that ship. That's that mothership that I'm talking about. Some of the agendas that the Pleiadians and others have are centered around helping and protecting humans and also the planet, because they're focused on us right now. Not just us, but there's other species that are at the same level of evolution that we are, that they're also helping. The Sarsahr are not here to help save humanity, though. Even though they're part of the Legions, that's not... Each species has kind of like an agenda they agreed upon in the Allegiance. And the Pleiadians, they want to do this for us. The Sarsahr don't want to do that. Within the Allegiance, though, they help with keeping the peace and helping to protect the planet itself, but not its inhabitants. They don't care if we go extinct because of our own decisions. They're here to protect the planet itself.
Because they live here.
Right,
They
not
want
just
their
that,
home.
but if a planet gets destroyed, it could really affect... for some reason, it could affect, I guess, the universe or the solar system or whatever. It has more consequences than if the inhabitants on the planet died.
Okay.
Next section is titled, Why Earth? Why come here? Why are they here? And sorry to disappoint, but again, they're not here to save us from ourselves. They're not here to help us. And they didn't originally come here to befriend us or make contact. They've been here even before we...
existed.
Well, no, before, I think they showed up right when we first started developing tools. So when we're still look like monkeys. Or what is it, apes or chimpanzees? I can't remember. Where Earth is placed, it's in the middle of nowhere. And at least in the middle, at least for habitable places for the Sarsahr. So there's other planets nearby, but they're not habitable. And they use Earth pretty much like a gas station. They stop here to rest, they fix their spacecrafts if needed, they stock up on any supplies before continuing on their travels. Some stay behind and live on Earth to watch over the living quarters, keep their supplies up to date, and keep up the community garden. It's one of many bases they have within the galaxy. They have been coming to Earth for thousands, perhaps millions of years. They were here even during our oldest civilization, including the Egyptians and Mayans. They were here even before, like I said, before humans started.
I thought they were pre-human. I thought that they were here before humans even existed. Before there was a race of humans. I think so, yeah. I think that might be true. I think that's what I heard from them. But I can't recall. I can't remember. And we've done a lot of interviews. We've been doing this for a year, so it's hard to remember everything.
It is. But I know they've been here just for a long-ass time. Let's just put it like that.
A long-ass time.
So they didn't make contact with the U.S. government until after World War II. So it's relatively new to them. And that was because the U.S. Air Force started to build a base right where the Sarsahr had been living in the desert in Nevada. And they didn't have these other two bases before. So the other two bases they had didn't exist yet. The Sarsahr were the ones to initiate contact first by going to see the military. Where the Sarsahr live are near the mountains, near Creech Air Force Base in Indian Springs, Nevada, for people that don't know that. The Sarsahr didn't want there to be any tension between us and them, and they wanted to make a peaceful introduction, so that's when they revealed themselves. Because humans were starting to use the same supplies as the Sarsahr, they didn't want humans to think they were stealing our resources, and they decided to implement a trade. The U.S. government will provide housing and any supplies and protection for the Sarsahr in exchange for information about advanced technology. And Sarsahr's conditions were that the information given to the humans cannot be used for wars. Now, Sarsahr wanted open contact and disclosure with all humans, but the U.S. military, the government, forbid it, which they don't agree with. They still don't. However, they're not here to tell us how to govern ourselves, so they went along with the U.S. government's wishes. They're not going to go against, our leaders, and it's not their job to rewrite how we do things. It's not their job to come in and be like, democracy,
right. It's our evolution, not theirs.
Right, exactly. Next section, change of heart. That's what I called it. As the Sarsahr continued to live here and make contact with us, they wanted more of a life other than hiding. So they decided to dress up as humans, which they can easily do, and would go into Vegas to gamble, shop, and attend shows. The Sarsahr can easily fit in among us, especially on the streets of Vegas, where there are lots of strange-looking people, and the people are super drunk. They tend to go late at night when people are, like, blasted drunk. The women wear wigs with their thin helmets underneath, and the men will wear hats that easily conceal their helmets, most often the black Spanish-brimmed hats, and I put a picture of it in the document, and I've seen it before. I've seen a Sarsahr dressed up before it. I think it was Sam. I'm not sure. He was walking funny, though. Anyway, the women will put on heavy amounts of makeup because they need to cover up their white-ass, chalk-ass face. They'll wear stockings and long-sleeved dresses, even in the heat. Then men will wear suits. So both the men and women will wear sunglasses and gloves, even indoors. Usually when asked where they come from by humans, they tell them they come from northern Spain. So
northern Spain. Yeah,
that's their lie. And they may walk strangely, especially if they're new arrivals, because they're not used to our gravity, or if they're, usually the elders don't go out because once they reach a certain height, they just can't fit in. So once they go over like 7 feet, they don't come into town anymore. They can't because they just stick out like sore thumbs. There have been many sightings of the Sarsahr and other high touristy type towns where they visited for the day. They've been seen at the Burning Man Festival before. They've been seen at a carnival in Spain, at a festival in Canada, and many other places. You just have to keep your eye out. They've been seen at a pool before, like a community pool in Spain before, and a little girl, but she was a little girl at the time, but she wrote about the encounter and shared it when she was older. So the Sarsahr want to make Earth one of their many homes. They tend to colonize on other planets, and this has been told to me by another extraterrestrial species before. But they said it in a mean way. They said, all the Sarsahr do, they're worthless. All they do is colonize on other planets. And I got all in their face, and I was like, you could suck my fucking clit. I'm not scared of aliens. I'll straight up go up to one and fucking just...
Who was it? Do I know this?
It was a gray. They were grays. Oh, okay. They're talking shit about them. And I was like, I'll fucking cut you. I'll fight you. Yeah.
I will cut you.
I'll cut you. I don't care. You don't know me. I may have like a shank inside my fucking panties. You don't know.
You probably do right now.
Shh. Okay. But they don't want to without first making open contact with humans and having full disclosure. So they want to make it their, one of their homes and live among us, but they can't do that until, we all agree and are accepting of them. If the natives of a planet don't want them there, they will leave without a fight because they know what it's like to have foreigners come in and, try and take over. So they're not here to force themselves in anyway. They're still trading technology in return for supplies and safety and all that from the U.S. I said U.S. military, but Sam is saying it's more the CIA. And he considers the CIA separate than the government. It's like its own entity. And they're trying to push for more open contact at this time. So, and I'm working with Sam and all that on that. So that's why Stardust exists. Please know that not all Sarsahr feel this way about making contact with us. There are Sarsahr that do not approve of this bridging of cultures because they're fearful. No different than how some humans are afraid of ETs. Some Sarsahr do not approve of the Stardust group and what we're doing, but they will not attack us in any way. They're not inherently violent, again. They will just keep their distance. and, say things like, I don't approve or whatever.
How dare they?
Right. So the Sarsahr aren't perfect in any way. They're not angels. They're not all-knowing. They're not omnipresent, which is what we discussed before. People often forget that they're physical beings with needs, wants, and egos. They are not spirit, which means they can't be around you at the drop of a hat or whenever you want them to. They have jobs and things to do themselves, like they have to shower, and they don't shower, they bathe. They take a big bath as a community. It's really neat. I've seen it. It's cool.
You've bathed in it.
I've been in the pool before. So they can and do make mistakes, just like we do. They can misunderstand us sometimes. And
they're only human.
Right. They're only human. They're only Sarsahr. So we can misunderstand them. They can misunderstand us. It happens with me and Sam too. They don't place them on a pedestal. And that was one of our very first videos we discussed. So do not place them on the pedestal. Take them off if you have. Just take them right on off. At times, there will be barriers in our cultures that we either do not understand or that we find offensive, like the killing of other animals. Some people might find really offensive. It's a learning experience for both our species. We're learning as we go, and sometimes misunderstandings and feelings may get hurt along the way because although we may be similar in some ways, we're still vastly different in others.
Yeah, true that.
So please don't take offense to their customs. They're doing the same with us, not taking offense to us. And be open-minded. This is new to them like it is for us, so we're both learning through trial and error. I put that in there because at some point in Stardust, people were getting offended by some of the...
Yeah, because they did have them on the pedestal, and they thought that they were just really from a different place altogether. It's like, no, they are, in that sense, they are very human. We have to allow for them to be who they are. They're not...
Hold on, I can't see the recorder. Okay, I wanted to make sure the recording was still going. Okay.
I wonder if you fucked up. You'd be in trouble. Just kidding.
It's fine. So now, different section, bases on Earth. Kind of discussed it, but I'll go over it in more detail. So the Sarsahr visit many different places on Earth, but they only have 3 bases on Earth that they choose to live on. Mm-hmm. The biggest base they have that houses around 4,000 Sarsahr is located in Indian Springs, Nevada. And that's the one Sam's in charge of. He's in charge of 4,000 people. It's a big group of people.
Right.
The base is underground, and the entrance...
He's the
Huh?
No, keep going. It just stalled. Keep going.
Okay. And the entrance it's high up in the mountains where it's impossible to get to. There are no roads that lead up to it, and it's located on a military base. So you can't get to it unless you want to get shot and killed. The second base, where about 1,000 Sarsahr live and work, is near Mount Shasta. The base is used for maintenance mostly. However, the Sarsahr that work there live there with their families. It's like a military base, kind of like our bases are. If you get stationed there, you'll bring your family with you.
Right.
The third base is located deep underground in the middle of the Australian desert, in the middle of nowhere. Only a select few Sarsahr work there, and they trade out the post of workers every couple weeks because it's really secluded. This is because none of the Sarsahr go above ground in the Australian desert because it's too dangerous for them.
Okay.
Again, the base is only used for maintenance, so
all right,
maintenance workers. Next section, making contact. So a lot of people have questions about making contact with the Sarsahr. So there are one of 2 ways to make contact with them. They're open and willing to make contact with humans, the ones that want to, because they want to live among us and not have to hide anymore. You can camp out at or near Indian Springs in Nevada in search of them, which I've done before, and so many other people have who are not even part of Stardust. They've done it before. You call out to them, put the intent out because they're sensitive to energy and thought waves, so they will know you're seeking them out, which is how they found me. Well, actually, they found me through a Facebook group dedicated to... They're called the Tall Whites in this Facebook group, but anyway, it's different. They're incredibly shy, but also curious, so stay focused on a task during the day. Paint, read a book, doodle, sing, dance, play guitar, whatever. Stay focused on this task, and they'll slowly approach you from behind. Which I've had that happen to me before. You can feel it, and it's almost scary. It makes your hair on the back of your neck stand on end. It feels like a wild animal is about to approach you, like a bear. like it's scary. Like, you know it's them, you know not to be scared, but your body is just like in fight or flight mode, but you know not to be afraid, but it still doesn't change how your body reacts. If this happens, do not react suddenly. Your best bet, if you become frightened, because you will, like I just said, it's an instinctual reaction. Some people are like, oh, I won't. I'm like, okay, all right, sure. Is to stay perfectly still, like I said. Start singing to calm yourself, and the singing can also calm them. It really does help. If you were to catch a Sarsahr off guard, make your presence known immediately. So say you're walking and you see one and their back is turned and they don't like hear you or not alert to you. Just start making a lot of noise.
Okay.
Like you're going to approach them. If they have children with them, do not approach their children. They, like I said, they're fiercely protective and they will kill you without question if they feel you're threatening their child in any way. So they're like big mama bears.
Okay.
Never, ever touch a Sarsahr or their children. Never attempt physical contact, no matter how close they get to you, unless they touch you first. So the Sarsahr children are so brave because they're so protected and their world is just so safe. They never have to be careful. They'll get right up to your face. Don't move a fucking inch. I swear to God. Don't move an inch. Just sit there. Even if they touch you and they're like mere centimeters from your face, don't touch them at all.
Okay.
Sounds scary, but I'm just letting you know so you don't get hurt. Because these people we're animals too, and so are they, you know. They're just more evolved animals. It's, you know, they're going to protect their young. So, as stated before in the socializing section, like I said, to break the ice, tell them you know that, you know, put your hands at the side, tell them that you know they love their children more, shit like that. If you're camping out in the desert, to make contact, the Sarsahr will most likely go through your things as you sleep to get to know you better. They're very curious, so they may also visit you at your home if they feel comfortable with you. Another way to make contact is by having them visit you while they're in astral. This means you won't be able to see them with your physical eyes, but you can feel their presence, much like a spirit, and see them in your mind's eye. You can call them in whenever you like, and one or two or more may come by. But maybe not right away, because again, they have their own lives and shit. Again, they're shy, and visiting in astral does not change this. While in astral, they may communicate in your dreams. They'll help you to astral project so they can make contact in that way, or they'll just, you know, seep themselves into your dreams, so you'll feel like, I saw a Sarsahr in my dream, you know, and it'll be a weird dream or something, but they'll do that with you. And they like to watch your dreams. At least Sam does.
Aww.
Sam likes to watch mine.
Aww.
When in contact in person, your technology may stop working. For instance, your wristwatch may freeze, your phone will shut off, or your car battery may suddenly die. This is due to their advanced technology. The car battery dying only happens if one of their spacecrafts are nearby. It'll make it shut off for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I just know that happens.
Okay.
It's simple. If you want contact, just put the intent out there, and it will happen. They're shy, so it'll take some time before they feel brave enough to make full contact with you. So they may observe you for a while before actually going in and, you know, talking to you. And then in the physical, while you're asleep, they may come by to your house and explore your house. So they may move things around. They try to put things back in the exact same spot, but sometimes it may be a few inches off.
I remember Avery had to spy on me for a long time because I was such an emotional freak. He needed to make sure I'd calm the fuck down before I flip out and flail and break a body part.
So, signs that a Sarsahr has visited you. You may have strange thoughts implanted in your head that feel like they're not yours, like asking yourself why you're brushing your teeth, or asking yourself what the function of a fridge is. Like, I've been asked that before. I'm like, why do I care about that? The Sarsahr will implant questions into your head and have you answer them. You may feel sudden fear or peace when coming into contact, and you may feel as though it isn't your emotion. Objects will disappear for a few days or weeks, especially creative pieces like a painting or your child's first grade project. They love things that are creative. Objects will have moved, like I said. Pay attention where you place your stuff. Your AC will have been messed with. mine gets messed with all the time. They prefer warmer climates, so if your house is too cold, it will turn it up to heat around 80 degrees. So if your AC has gone up, that's probably a sign that they were there, and they're like, I'll make your house more comfy, you know. Just...
We've been blaming my kid this whole time. It's Avery.
It's Avery. So you may have lost lapses in time. This happens when they come to you physically. People have reported receiving time gaps, especially those that go looking for them out in the desert. It could be something as small as 15 minutes, but you could have sworn only a minute passed. Or it could have been a few hours. Make sure to keep track of time while you're out in the desert. Also, lucid dreaming of being with the Sarsahr is also another sign. Next section. Shit, god damn. What page am I on? Fuck me. All right. We're almost, I guess we're kind of done. I don't know.
We're almost halfway done.
We're on page 31, and there's 48 pages, but like a good chunk of them are pictures that I'll just skip. So we might have just like 8 pages left. So the Sarsahr live on many different planets. So we're talking about the Sarsahr contact and disclosure. And they develop small colonies on the planets over time. Like I said before, they wish to have a colony here on Earth and to live among us peacefully. In order to do this, they're helping with the allegiance that they work with in a slow and gradual way of providing full disclosure. And they do not like to impose themselves. So if humans were to decide they no longer want them here, like we don't want them here anymore, they'll leave. In order to help with full disclosure, the Sarsahr wanted to bridge the gap between our cultures by bringing us together in friendship in order to help shed fears of us and them. Mm-hmm. This is not a hybrid program. So a lot of people thought that Stardust and this whole contact with Sarsahr were just to create hybrids. No. And that was my fault because I like to talk about sex a lot. So people misconstrued this whole thing. This is a friendship. However, romantic relationships have come up for a few people, but that's not why you should want to make contact, because if that's all you want from them, you're less likely to get contact from them because they're not here for that. They're not here to fuck us. All different.
I have met a few people that are, that have told me. I said, is it your guy or your friend? Just friends. We're just friends. So there is a lot of that going on. And not even just guy, just women too. There's a lot of friendships happening. Right. I love that. That's so cool.
It's good because it was the relationship between me and Sam was really what started this whole thing. And they decided
and then the next one was me and Avery.
Right.
So we had like 2 romantic relationships being exposed right off the bat. So I can see how people would get that impression. And It does happen, but it's not the reason.
Right. All different types of relationships have been created, like you said, like a family bond. Some people feel like they found like someone who's kind of like their mother, a sisterhood, brotherhood, whatever. If a romantic bond does happen, then it could lead to their form of union and children as a result, like any other couple.
Right.
A romantic relationship isn't something that is guaranteed or something that happens for everyone. It's no different than with humans who start out as acquaintances or friends and then one day might become more than that. Having a Sarsahr as a romantic partner doesn't automatically mean everything will be easy. This is a union. There's going to be disagreements, hardships, loving moments, compromises, just like in any other relationship. They do not have sex for fun. Meaning without being married. They don't fuck around and have one-night stands.
Mine does.
But he's a hybrid.
Right.
So they will not engage sexually with anyone that are not married first. As a result of romantic relationships happening, the Sarsahr see another positive thing that can happen with the couples that are choosing to start families. And that's helping with genetics. And the Sarsahr come from, a different planet, which means their bodies are better equipped to be able to live comfortably on that planet versus Earth. Even though it is habitable, it's not perfect. Right. They want to live more comfortably here on this planet for their children and their children's children. Some complications that they have is our air. They can't really breathe it too well. It's much thinner than their atmosphere on their home planet. So they wish to use the help of our genetics to develop better lungs for this environment. Also, human bodies are much sturdier and easily able to live in this environment where the weather can be unpredictable. And then they want bodies that can withstand bug bites and animals attacking them, like a dog bite for us, we can heal from. For the Sarsahr, that's like a life or death situation.
I know. I remember Avery got scratched. It took 4 months. 4 months for him to heal from a scratch. Mm-hmm. And put this in. Oh, shoot. I had a question for you. Okay. It's a good one. I lost it, but it's going to come back to me and I'm going to ask it. Okay. Keep going because I want to get this out.
So they just want more durable bodies like us. And
okay. I got it. Stop. Okay, so when you're talking about genetics, I just want you to clear up that they're not like doing like genetic mutations and fucking with us. It's just like the natural, consequence of mating with people that already have this trait.
Right.
Whatever happens. They're not.
Yeah, their doctors aren't going in and manipulating the DNA of the fetuses.
I thought that's what was happening at first. I really thought that they were trying to, like, maybe they would pull out my fertility, button and increase that or whatever. But no, it has nothing to do with that.
No. So the Sarsahr also have fertility issues, and with the help of human genetics, they're hoping to solve the issue for future generations. The Sarsahr do not wish to change the physical appearance. They're not doing this because they want to look more like us. They just want to have better lung capacity, stronger bodies, and be able to live on Earth more comfortably. They also want to make it easier for their future generations to conceive and carry children. Positives for humans for this is that we can gain better eyesight, a better nervous system, longer lifespan. It's good for both people. And you don't have to participate if you don't want to. I mean, you don't have to marry a Sarsahr if you don't want to. Like, I mean, it's not like you have a choice. When you fall in love with somebody, it just happens, But, I mean, some people are like, I don't want to be part of this. I don't like Stardust because it's about hybrids and stuff. I'm like, it's not about hybrids. What are you talking about? No, it's not.
I got that, too. I get people telling me I don't resonate with having, alien babies. And I'm like, well, then don't have an alien baby, but just appreciate being part of this new endeavor and, meeting this new species. You don't have to have a baby.
Right.
It's not part of it.
You're right. And obviously, you're not going to. Like,
right. Not with an attitude like that.
Relax. So, again, how to make contact with a Sarsahr. And this is for people it's just, they just set the intent, like I said. You don't sign up anywhere. Some people have asked me, where can I sign up? I'm like, what? No. Sometimes those who create close friendships with Sarsahr have volunteered to be surrogates for those having fertility issues. If a Sarsahr is drawn to your energy, they will connect with you. Again, with romantic relationships, it'll be very much like a courtship where you get to know one another and then see if you connect and fall in love, blah, blah, blah. If not, then the relationship will end and you go back to being just friends. No different than with humans. So I'm going to talk about surrogacy. If you choose this route, you're simply being a surrogate mother for a couple who wishes to have a child but cannot carry themselves. You may or may not donate your egg for this. Mostly they want the child to be grown in a human female's body first before transferring to an incubator, because the Sarsahr are testing out to see if having a bodied host increases the chances of successful pregnancy rather than in an incubator. So they may have you carry it a little bit longer. So they find that I'll just go over this first and then go into detail. It's a theory to the Sarsahr that human female bodies are better capable of holding a child successfully before transferring to an incubator. So they're testing out this theory right now. With surrogacy, sometimes you can just volunteer, and if a couple is drawn to your energy, and they take a liking to you, they'll have you carry their child for them. And
again, I want to say that volunteering. How do you do that? Where do I sign up? It's just intent. You just put that thought out there.
Right. And if one's interested, and most of the time it's because they already had a close friendship with you anyway. It's no different than if I were to be a surrogate mother for my sister. They usually don't want a stranger doing it for them. It's only happened like once or twice so far in the group. But also only the human woman can participate in this, and you will not have sex in order to participate with this. You're not going to have sex with another Sarsahr. It's just purely a surrogate.
You're just the package.
Yeah. You're just the host. Yeah, you're just the host. So now we're going to get into more detail about having a child with the Sarsahr. So this is if you're in a marriage and you decided to have children. So anyway, they find that emotional connection helps higher chances of conception or whatever. This is just a little side piece information because I work with hybrid programs for different species, and they're testing out this theory with how emotions play a part in more successful pregnancies. So you will engage sexually. You will have sex in order to conceive this child. This option, so you're married, you're going to have sex, you're going to have a baby. The child is just, hold on. So the child will be raised within the Sarsahr community, but it's still just as much yours as it is your partner's. But you will see your child and have a bond with him or her. I just had one, and it's difficult, but I still have a bond with my baby. What to expect when carrying a hybrid. So once you develop a bond with your Sarsahr and decide to start a family together, they'll first take you to see their doctors, and they will check your cervix. And I don't know how this is going to work with the men who decide to get married, because I don't think that's happened yet, to make sure it's healthy. If not, they will clean it and help it make it healthier. And this usually happens close to your ovulation time or right when you're ovulating. They will place this type of protective bubble inside your cervix, and it looks like it's made out of a clear gelatin substance that the egg will go inside of. The reason this all happens in the cervix because the Sarsahr, I found that it's much better for both the mother and the child. The protective bubble will allow you to eat or do whichever you want without it negatively impacting the embryo inside. But some bodies are more sensitive than others. So, I was able to drink and do whatever the fuck I wanted, and it didn't affect my baby.
No, man, I partied hard.
But I can't say the same for everybody else. Everyone's experience is probably going to be a tiny bit different, but this is pretty much the basis.
Right.
After this happens, you may feel sore in your cervix area and maybe even your uterine area for a day. It feels like you've been scraped clean. That's the feeling I get. Like someone came in with a spoon and scraped out like a pumpkin. When you clean out a pumpkin, that's what.
All right, that's enough of that.
That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. So, anyway, the bubble also helps with higher chance of conception because when the Sarsahr sperm is inside of you, it's such a confined space inside that bubble that it goes in and it creates a greater chance of latching onto an egg. And so they do the same with the Sarsahr women. So even the Sarsahr women use the bubble. This is also another reason why they place the makeshift womb, the bubble, into the cervix. Better chance of conception because it's less of a travel up to the uterus and less evasive. Because if they want to put it in the uterus, they got to really shove their hand up in there or they cut you open or something, and they don't do that. So those who are doing the surrogacy option will also go through this same process of having the bubble put in, but they're not having sex, so the sperm and the egg would have already been placed inside the bubble.
All right, already pre-planted.
Yeah, pre-planted. So you being pregnant with a hybrid will not show up on a pregnancy test because it isn't happening in the uterus, and instead in the protective bubble, so that whatever that hormone is that picks up on the pregnancy test is not going to show up. You should also have your regular menstrual cycle because, again, it's happening in the cervix, not the uterus. And I'm not sure if the pregnancy will show up on any sort of scans. Well, it should because I've had an ultrasound done on the cervix area and it showed up with Sam.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, I didn't have it I had it with Sam on their base. It was a human doctor who did the scan. It was an ultrasound. It was cool. But, I mean, I don't know if you can schedule an ultrasound to just check if you have an alien baby inside you. You have to get, like, a doctor approval or something. You can't just be like, I want an ultrasound,
I know. I remember I had that bladder infection. I had to get felt up. And I was like, God, don't feel anything. God, don't feel. How did you explain something like that? You have an abnormal lump inside. We need to go test.
And because it's in the cervix, I had sex with Josh when I had the bubble inside me, and he could feel it. He was like, "What is that?"
Oh my God!
I was like, "I don't know." I came up with some lie I was like, well, it's almost my period soon, so, might be some uterine wall buildup. He's like, oh, okay. I'm like, thank God
I know he's
nothing.
pretty open and receptive to things, but that might be a little hardcore for him to hear at that moment.
Right? Right, while we're having sex. Yeah, it's my alien baby. Anyway, you may experience typical pregnancy symptoms, but everyone's different in how they experience them. So for me, I get nauseous at night. I get night sickness. I don't get morning sickness. I get bad cravings. I also got extremely bloated. If you're in the group, I shared a video of my...
You were fat.
I was fucking out there. Yeah, and this will typically last a month at least. You carry the child for at least a month unless something goes wrong. But the duration of it fluctuates from 1 month to 2 or 3 months. It just depends on how fast or slow the embryo is developing, which is different because it depends on how much of which genetics that fetus is taking in. So if it's more Sarsahr than human, it's probably going to take a little bit longer. So it differs. Once the embryo is ready, they take out the protective bubble that the embryo is in and continue the process in an incubator. So because it's in the bubble, it's safer to take out and transfer. Some women have said, yeah, I had the baby naturally or I had it without the protective bubble, which isn't, I mean, it could be true, but it most likely isn't, and your child probably died within the transfer because it's too dangerous because your womb isn't made to be transferred out. You need to keep your womb inside of you, and if you take out the embryo, it will die without being connected to some kind of womb at all times. That's an abortion. You're having an abortion, and you can't bring that baby back to life after an abortion. So
I mean, doctor stuff's hard for me, but just logically speaking, that's impossible.
Right. It's not going to happen. Even the Sarsahr women use the bubble because you can't extract their womb. You can't take the baby out of their womb. Anyway, so your symptoms will go away in a snap once the baby's out of your body. Allow a day or two for the bloating to subside, though. For me, it took about 1 day. Mm-hmm. So next section is, how do I know if I made contact? Yay. So there's no definite way of knowing for sure, but you may get flashes of memory or a general feeling that you've made contacts. So I can't tell you whether or not you will remember your visitations by the Sarsahr because that's entirely up to you. It's not up to them. They don't block your memories. You do. And it could be because it's too much for your human brain to handle and to comprehend. So you may remember slowly over time, but I can't tell you for sure how your experience with them is going to be like.
Well, let me tell you, if you want to see one, I was given a tip and it makes sense. Just keep setting that intention that you'll see them. You're ready to see them. Yeah. I don't know if you really are or not, but you keep setting that intention. The universe will bring you what you want, what your focus is on. So if you really want to, you put that out there because it's not the Sarsahr, it's you. So you have a little talk with your higher self. Say, bring that shit on.
Mm-hmm. And so if you want to remember, like sometimes Sam will help me remember. He does this by he'll feed me his perspective on things, his memory of the event, and I'll help jog my memory. But he can't use, he doesn't use the device to make me remember. They can't do that. And even if they could, it'd be highly unethical on their part. But they can help jog your memory by they could use the device to help calm you down so that, you'll be able to sort through the memories much more easily.
Without flipping out,
Right. So that's the way they can help you to remember. But usually they wouldn't do that because it's up to you. Anyways, but a big bulk of the next few pages are just pictures. And the pictures are pretty cool. They're drawings. There's no actual live pictures of the Sarsahr, because if there was, I would have them. And because I'm psychotic, always looking for them. There was a picture of them maybe some of you guys can go on this quest for me. So sometime in the in the 60s, in the mid 60s, I think 67 or 68, I can't remember. There was a Time magazine that was printed, and there was a article about some type of delicate ball that happened, with the different military and ambassadors and stuff came, and somebody had taken a picture of 3 Sarsahr women that were in attendance, and they put a caption under the picture of who are they. They said there were delegates from northern Spain, which is their typical lie. And a few people have seen this Time magazine before it was recalled, and then the article was replaced with something else. So if you guys can find that Time magazine, I went searching for it. I bought old-ass Time magazines, and I tried looking for recalled ones. I can't find it for the life of me, so you guys go on that quest for me.
It's a challenge.
So look from like the years 65 to like 69 through those years, recalled Time magazines. There's also a book that a woman had written about the Sarsahr, it's like the PDF document I typed up. It just lists facts about them. And it has a picture of a Sarsahr in it, not a drawing, an actual picture of one. That book has gone missing. It's nowhere to be found. So if you guys can find that, it's written by a woman who lives in New Jersey, a New Jersey wife. That's what she called herself. I think that was the name of, like, she put as her author name or something. I can't remember. But
interesting.
If you guys can find it, that'd be amazing. Anyway, so these next few questions are like frequently asked questions that I put at the end of the document, and then we'll probably go over the questions people asked in the group too.
Okay.
One of the most common questions I get is, can the Sarsahr heal my illness? And we went over that. No. It's not that they can't, but it's more that they won't. They may heal something, like I said, like a scraped knee or whatever. However, they won't heal any serious or chronic illness. And reason is because, one, they do not want to interfere with your life contract. It could be that there's a reason you're having that experience, and they don't want to get in the way of that. 2, you're a human, and their doctors are trained to heal Sarsahr. Yes, they're advanced in their medicine, but they do not know how to react. How the humans will react to their technology. The human anatomy is different. The way we heal is different. And they don't want to take the risk of causing further injury. 3, they simply don't care. This sounds me. They don't have an interest.
Well, really?
Yeah.
I mean, how many are you just going to tell all of the doctors down at the hospital, hey, heal me because you can? Right. It's not like that.
Right. You would have better luck asking another extraterrestrial species for help. Just don't ask them. Sam gets annoyed when people ask him, can you heal me? He's like, no. Unless he really likes you, then he may help you with, like, put a Band-Aid on you, but, he's not going to get rid of your problem. So like another question people have asked is if there's pictures of them. Like I said, no, there's not, or I would have them. Another question I get asked a lot, can Sam or me, H, tell me if I've been contacted by the Sarsahr? No. I mean, I could, but I don't want to, because as the group gets bigger, the more and more people are going to...
You'll be bombarded.
Yes.
Get a reading.
Right. So it's just better for everybody if I just say no across the board and just figure it out for yourselves, or go to somebody and book a reading. Go to someone else.
That's what I do. I don't even ask for it. I mean, very rarely do I ask a question, but I book a reading like everyone else.
Right. I don't want to be me, but it's a lot of energy, and I have, like, Stardust isn't everything. I have another job. I'm a nanny. You have
your own life. Yeah.
I can't just be answering everyone's questions all the time.
Which is one of the reasons for this video.
Right, exactly. So, do the Sarsahr have mental illnesses? No. No, they don't. And I'm not going to share that's not time yet to share that ever. There's information for why that is, and I'm not going to share that yet because it's not time.
Okay.
Do the Sarsahr abduct people? No, absolutely not. If you feel you've been taken against your will in any way, it isn't the Sarsahr, because they don't do that. You have to consciously agree to contact with them. There are a lot of Nordic-type extraterrestrials that are tall and white, blonde-haired and blue-eyed, that people mix them up with. But they're a totally different race. If you feel you haven't consciously agreed to contact and you come into contact, that isn't them. So that's the rules that Sam and I set for all the Sarsahr. You have to make sure that human consciously agrees before you even do anything. Do the Sarsahr harvest DNA? No, I've been asked that numerous times. They don't have a need for that. They preferred you to consciously agree to be a surrogate, but again, it's not even your genetics going into that baby, so...
Right.
Doesn't matter. They don't harvest DNA for any species. Doesn't matter if you're human or not. Do the Sarsahr only want romantic relationships with people? No. They don't want just romantic relationships. Like I said before, they only allowed open contact just because they want to live among us and be peaceful and, big kumbaya bullshit. And then somebody asked, I am barren. Can I still have a relationship with a Sarsahr? Yes, but that shouldn't be the only reason why you want to make contact. And they're not just here so you can marry them and fuck them. I'm just going to say it like that. Again, they're not using us to make hybrids. That is not their goal. You can have a friendship or a romantic relationship without even if you don't plan to have children, But yeah, that's the end of the document. I went through everything. God damn.
Yay! You did it!
Okay, so, fuck. This video will probably be a little bit long. We have 22 questions.
Well, that's another hour in itself. Are you sure you want to do it in the same one?
No, I'll hang up. Okay, so this is the end of part 3. God damn, there's 4 parts. So we're going to do part 4 next, and that's the questions that people have asked that aren't in the document. So.
Okay.
All right, I'm hanging up now.